At this point, what ReZero is doing was thought to once be impossible. And I think for many of us, we've been waiting for the shoe to drop and a death to happen, some setbacks. Yet week after week, we're in this unprecedented times where we're winning and actually not resetting. And I think it really clicks with me with Garf's victory because, Jesus Christ, they might actually succeed in this arc without a major fatality. And if anyone has a death flag right now, it's probably Wilhelm. But I ain't gonna lie, as much as I love that guy, if he's the only death we get, we're actually cooking, all things considered. And for what is arguably the greatest produced episode in ReZero's history, and I will die on that hill, no one can convince me otherwise. When I saw Garf's fight at the end, that 2-minute sequence, that was pulled straight out of movie quality production. Like, that was insane. And at this point, I'm pretty sure we will get through this arc relatively unscathed. But if that happens, the next arc's going to make up for it tenfold. For the longest time, I've been waiting for the shoe to drop, for a death to happen. And yeah, maybe the checkpoint's been moved up, so it's not going to be, back at the clock tower when everything first started. But now I'm convinced, and I don't know if this makes me happy or more worried, that we're gonna end this core with a W, and then the next arc's gonna come around, and it's just gonna be, oh, you thought the deaths from 1 through 3, seasons 1 through 3 were bad? Oh boy. Let me introduce you to the true pain and suffering, because it's gonna happen. But for now anyway, I'm gonna enjoy the W's, because we are in a point where this is the most successful Subaru has ever been. And while sure he had a couple of deaths right at the beginning of this arc, he's gone the longest without a death. And not only is he getting W's as seen by his and Amelia's victory, the characters in questions are slapping these bitches left and right, and I feel good. So I'm going to enjoy that before they crush my heart. Of course, if you want to see my full thoughts, support my work, we got the Patreon, full and good live reactions available exclusively over there if you're so interested. So, I was hearing rumblings a couple days ago that there was some people working on this episode, so, production was probably going to be really good. And prior to Garf versus the 8-armed guys fight at the very end, like their proper fight, I was thinking to myself, yeah, this is a really well-produced episode. I was thinking, yeah, if you were going to make like a top 10 ReZero episodes list in terms of production, this one would probably be there. There's moments like when she got stabbed and it blew apart, the bodily horror and how well they produced that stuff, and just a lot of these moments looked exceptionally well done. The water dragons, like, attacking our boy, like, in general, this felt like an episode where the in-between frames were looking better than some key frames in a lot of, main episodes. Like, it was a really good-looking episode. But the thing that really elevated it from a damn good-looking episode to the, are we sure we're watching a ReZero TV episode and not a cutout fight scene from the ReZero movie, was the final fight. That was fire. I love the idea that for most of the episode, the man was fighting with like 2 hands and the other arms were tied behind his back. And when everyone starts cheering for him, he's like, okay, I'm going to give you my full attention, which unfortunately means you have to fight against 8 arms, and 4 of those arms have really big swords. The best part of that entire chase sequence, because that's what it was Garf chasing him and trying to come after him and him just holding his ground, was that you kept up with every single movement, and oh my god. The best way to describe the adrenaline is, how sometimes in like a Dragon Ball when characters are getting powered up, like they're about to throw the craziest attack? It was like that initial charge up attack, but for rapid fire pace for like 2 minutes straight. It looked insanely well done. And I gotta be honest, I wasn't expecting the W. I thought we were gonna cliffhanger go into next episode. Because when he's down, I'm like, oh shit, Garf's down, he's standing there, and then he says like, damn, good job, son. That's pretty much what he says. And then he dies. To be such a Chad that you say, god damn, I've been alive for how many years? I've been waiting for someone to finally put up a fight. I'm okay dying. Disintegrates. It reminds me of some of the personalities from a show called The Osa Newbie Adventure. Just loves a good brawl, and honestly, that's a proud warrior death if I've ever seen one. It wasn't even just the Garf stuff, though. The Garf stuff was great and definitely the highlight, but I mean, you look at, because like, 2 episodes ago. It's hard to keep track because sometimes we jump around perspectives, and then like other episodes we mainly focus on Subaru. But when that girl like fell through the floor and our boy just stood there being like, "Hey girl, how you doing?" The transformation, that alone animation was fantastic, where she then takes over like Priscilla's look. But like his attack and just everything was so good. Like I remember for a while, there's been like theories like, oh my god, this guy reminds us of Subaru. Which I don't know if I agree with the theory, but there are moments like in episodes like these where you could understand why the theory exists, because the way he interacted with her was literally Subaru. Like how he would be a meme. I've seen theories range from it's Subaru in the future, it's Subaru from a different timeline. I've seen a lot of different things, and I don't know if we'll ever truly know for sure. But you can't deny an episode like this, you understand why the theories exist when his literal mannerisms were pulled straight from Subaru, especially some early season 1 level of how he would interact with abominations in front of him. But the fact that he just like, without a second thought, cut her head off and literally Exodia obliterated. And it was like a more grotesque version of Attack on Titan when Titan shifters would lose their head and they regrow. Beautiful, beautiful shit. Just in general though, man, like the idea of the water serpents, like the sound effects there were probably the star attraction in the production, because you heard them like scream. It sounded like animals actually suffering. It was pretty disturbing. But in general, we had like 3 main perspectives, and to be honest, despite the jumping around as much as they did, I didn't really feel like, oh man, I wish I saw more of that. Like, every time they tease the Wilhelm stuff, I think I really want to see that, and initially I'm a little sad when we don't. Granted, after the credit stuff and everything, it feels like we're finally building into that, but then again, I've thought that for a few weeks now, so I don't know if we actually will. But either way, currently, he has a death flag if you ask me. Everyone else, I feel like we probably will survive this arc, but like I said, me feeling hope that we survive the arc at this point means whatever the next arc is, makes everything else look like playtime. Now, that said, if they kill him and they reset to an earlier point, while I feel like it's unlikely at this point, I'm still going to be like, it's ReZero. I think it's impossible to reset to the initial checkpoint at this point, because unless they speed ran it, like, you like kind of did a fast forward if we had to do that. But either way, it's a weird, unprecedented time where you have hope in ReZero, and because we've experienced so much, we're not being foolish about the hope. It's like, okay, we're doing good, but what the are you, what type of chaos are you building us into if you're giving us this much hope? Either way, I guess, at the end of the day, it has been 3 seasons. I guess Subaru deserves a big-ass W, but rip to our boy's mental state when his despair catches up to him. You let me know your thoughts and feelings down below, because people used to say this shit was impossible to have this much hope, but look at us now. Let's enjoy it while it lasts, because it probably won't last for too long. Your thoughts? Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Decayed Luzzle, Valerie, Shell Beast, Da Pickle, it's a good name, Gullion, and we also have Edwin Putra, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.